Hey friends, it's Life Coach Rich, and I'm making a video about the keto diet, keto meal plans, and I've been on it for almost 7 weeks now. And so I just made a video for the pros, and this is the cons video. There are some cons to it that you need to consider. I don't think that they're huge ones, but they are definitely things to consider, and to be able to overcome those to make better health choices. So first is I will say that it's slightly inconvenient. So don't take that the wrong way, but it is, we are in a carb-driven society. You go over to a friend's house, you go over to your relative's house, you go out to eat. What are you going to have? You're going to have hundreds of carbs in a meal. Just think about a burger and fries or pasta and, spaghetti or fettuccine alfredo or whatever that it is. We're in a carb-driven society and a carb-driven culture right now. It's the way it is. And so you need to think about what you're going to eat if you're going to go out. If you go over to a friend's house, then you may not eat all of what that they have. You can eat the meats, you can you can eat the vegetables, but are you going to have the big, huge mashed potatoes and gravy with that meat? Probably not. You're going to have a big mashed potato with that? Probably not. I kept my carbs under 50. 50 or below. I've kept my carbs there. So I can't have those things or else it'll get up. And I'll tell you there was one time in the 7 weeks that I went over the 50. I went all the way up to about 95 or 100 carbs. And that was just recently. Then we went to a relative's house for Easter weekend, got there on Saturday. And then that evening, then I had, I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Let's just move on to the other cons real quick. You have to, so the second one is that you do have to plan ahead some, but it's not hard. You have to plan ahead. So if you're like traveling, you're driving or something, you can take some meal stuff with you if you want, or you have to think about if you're going to eat out, well then what are you going to eat at those particular restaurants? And then choose accordingly. Number three is there's a little bit less variety in eating. You just can't eat anything that you want if you're trying to keep your carbs under 50. You can eat certain things. You just can't eat anything that you want. So you can prioritize meats and vegetables, prioritizing the protein and the fats, but all of the carb sides that you usually get, or portions of that meal, then I throw those out. So you have to think about that a little bit as far as what you're going to eat throughout the day and what are you going to eat at those different meals, and where you're going to be. If you're just at home, you got plenty of stuff to cook at home. That's fine. Have a plan, and eating single foods. I didn't have much of a plan into it. I just said I'm just going to eat single foods like ground beef, and if I just have to sit here and melt some butter and put it in cooked ground beef and then sit here and eat, I would just eat it out of a bag, and it was just kind of boring. And so that goes to that little bit less of variety. But that's what I was doing at the beginning. I didn't have as much of a plan as I've gotten into it. My wife has made some keto recipes, and so it's like with the cauliflower, but it's chopped up like it's rice. It almost tastes like rice. And then she's done some recipes that with ground beef, and so like a Mexican one, a couple of different ones, and then one that she just did with the cauliflower rice stuff with shrimp. And it was, man, these recipes are great, and they have been wonderful. And so I've really appreciated those that she's wanted to do for herself, and then me. She's a great cook, so I've appreciated those, and it's been so much more enjoyable the last few weeks when she's done some those keto recipes, and I'll be able to eat the leftovers and stuff. The next is that it kind of ties into number one. You do feel odd sometimes. Okay, you do feel odd sometimes not eating what others eat. So I'll give you an example. We went to, I'll bring up that example going to Easter weekend, and relatives cooked a lot of good food for us, had some ham, and also had some venison, and that stuff was great. And then I splurged. I hadn't had in 7 weeks. I hadn't had more than about 50, usually around 40 carbs. And then so I had a half of a cup of potato salad because she had some potato salad there. I had one yeast roll, and then what was the other thing? Oh, half of a corn on the cob. And so that pushed me up in the carbs to 95 or 100. Because I wanted to indulge. She had made all of that, all the stuff for us, and the rest of my family was eating the normal stuff that she had. But then I was only eating certain things, and boy, I was light after that. It took me about an hour, and then I was lightheaded. I was just jittery because I switched over from I had basically like a sugar high. It was a sugar spike because I didn't have that consistent energy. I wasn't burning fat. I switched from burning fat over to burning carbs because I had too many carbs for the day, and so it way wasn't worth it. That little bit of stuff that I ate that was carbs, it way wasn't worth it. I was lightheaded the rest of that evening, and just it was like, oh, like I had eaten like 4 or 5 candy bars all at once or something. I don't know. It was just weird. And so that was my body switching back into carb burning mode. And so anyway, why did I do that? Because I sort of did that because I wanted to, and for the sake of my relative. Hey, I'll eat some of the stuff that you made. But the next day, no, didn't eat anything. I switched back to I didn't have the other stuff that was out. because it wasn't worth it. So anyway, it might feel a little bit odd sometimes. I might have to explain. We had a good conversation with my relatives about my dietary changes and what I've been trying to do. And so it was a good conversation. Explain some stuff, so it was enlightening, hopefully for them, and the stuff that I've researched and everything. So the last con, let me see, that'd be the fifth one, is it does take a little bit of time to adjust. Okay, so it will take you at the beginning, the first week, you will you can ease into it. You don't have to just go cold turkey like I did, but you can ease into it and then make sure you're prioritizing your electrolytes and salt whenever you're doing that. So it would minimize the effects of that keto flu, so to speak. Because that did hit me pretty hard after about 3 days, because I had exhausted all of my carbs. So the third day for me, I did hit keto flu pretty hard, and then I wasn't prioritizing my electrolytes, and so that was a mistake I made at the beginning. But then by the end of the first week, I was adjusted. By the second week, then things were great. By the third week, my body was completely adjusted and rocking and rolling on those on the keto meal plan. So those are my cons. They're not. I don't think that any of them are big cons, but they are things that you need to consider. You can't just go into it. Well, I sort of went into it without a fully thought out plan, but I just knew that I was going to prioritize meat and fat, and so that was butter and eggs and bacon and stuff like that. So it's worked for me, and I'm going to continue it, and then I'll make some different videos as I continue, and then also do some videos on blood work that I've done and see the progression of my health over the years, and so that I am in a healthier place than I was just a few years ago, and the blood work and stuff and the numbers show it. So I would recommend that you take control of your health, because remember, the food companies want to make money off of you. Their priority, their goal is to make money off of you. Their goal is not your health. You have to take control of your health for your own sake and for your own. You have to make it a priority. They are not making it a priority. They don't care what the food does to you. They want to make money off of you by you eating more of their food. So anyway, that's what I have for you. Thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.